Hi, Dara.
Hi, Bridget. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the Women Wellness and Cannabis. We are so excited to be talking to you today.
Well,
Um,
thank you for having me.
it's great. Part of the motto of the conference or our tagline is network, connect, and inspire. And really, I think that there's 800 registrants so far, and they're all going to be inspired by you today. So we're thrilled to have you with us. I'm just going to welcome the audience as well. Thank you for being here. It's wonderful to have people from around the world participating. And I just want to talk a little bit about Dara and introduce Dara. She's a five-time Olympic medalist. She won so many medals, of 11, over 11 medals, but in the 2008 Olympics won three, and then reinvented and moved on to become and was a mother and author, writer, and now is leading so many opportunities for women in cannabis, in CBD, and around the world. So thank you so much for joining us, Dara. Dara, one of the things that we were hoping that we could talk to you about today is how you reinvented yourself and the opportunities around that.
You know, that's a great word, reinvent, because especially with what's going on right now in today's society and the pandemic, people are going to have to reinvent themselves. And for me personally, being an athlete, you know, you're used to doing something your whole entire life. You train for those 25 seconds or however long your races are. You train for those 2 weeks that you're in the Olympic Games, your whole entire life. And then you're done. And then it's like, okay, now what do I do? So I can only imagine people who are going through a lot right now with what's going on in the world or trying to figure out how to reinvent themselves. You know, the first thing is to really keep a positive attitude and to set goals. When I got done with my swimming, I actually had no idea what I was going to do. I just knew I had a 2.5-year-old waiting at home for me to get back from Beijing. And I was lucky in that sense because she kind of kept my mind off the fact of, okay, now what am I going to do? I just won 3 silver medals in the Olympics and so I'm in 5 Olympic Games. And now what do I do with my life? So, you know, I was fortunate to have that distraction of my daughter and being a mom. But I was also very lucky to have opportunities because of what I've done in my life. So I wasn't sure, you know, I took advantage of those opportunities, but I wasn't sure really where I wanted my career to go. I've really enjoyed being a motivational speaker, whether it's, you know, kids, 7, 8-year-olds at a elementary school, which I went to recently and had a blast talking to them, to, you know, very big, wealthy corporations that have 5,000 people there at their conference that want to hear me talk. I love trying to get my message out. And I have lots of different messages and it depends on who I'm speaking to, but really it's about setting goals and trying to achieve those goals and getting through the obstacles or bumps that are thrown your way and still trying to attain those goals that are at the other end of that rainbow. So, you know, the speeches are fun. I've really been having a great time with being involved with the CBD Canni Brands company. You know, that just kind of happened by chance. I obviously have had many injuries in my career, and people say, well, how do you have injuries swimming? And it wasn't so much as swimming, except for maybe my shoulders, but it was a lot of the dry land training that we did. You know, I just, with knee issues, and I had an elbow issue and finger issues, and there's always just some kind of issue going on with me. The latest was I tore my quad, which actually the muscle, the lateral part of the quad, rolled up my leg and I had a knot in my quad. And I remember a friend of mine who was my strength and conditioning coach when I was training for 08 and 2012 came into town, and I was on crutches. He's like, God, Dara, what happened? And I was like, no, it wasn't another knee surgery. I tore my quad muscle and had to get it fixed. And I'm just really having some real pain issues, and I don't know what to do about it. And he had said that he was working with a brand called Canni Brands, which is a CBD oil company. And, you know, he sort of educated me about what it was and how it was all natural and there wasn't THC in it. And he said, why don't we send you some and we can see how you feel? So sure enough, Can I brand sent me Can I Repair and Can I Mend? And when I'd be getting massages, which I try to get once a week, I was having my massage therapist rub it into the area where I'd had my surgery and where I was really having pain. And I noticed how much better I was healing and how much better I was feeling by using the Can I Mend and the Can I Repair compared to taking ibuprofen, where you have to watch how much you take because it's going to upset my stomach. And so I really became a believer very quick. And the other thing that happened was, because I'm getting older, I don't have the hormones like I had when I was younger. And it's very difficult for me to fall asleep at night. And so when I was talking to the Can I brands and Chris Lord about my sleep issues, he's like, oh, we have Can I Sleep too. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. And so they said, Can I spray and Can I Sleep oil? And I mean, it was like magic. It was like gold for me because I was able to get a really, really good night's sleep. So I became a believer very quickly from the Can I Mend, the Can I Repair, and the Can I Sleep. And obviously they have other brands of stuff that they help with. Can I Fresh, Can I Boost? But those two things really, really made a difference in my life.
And how did the finding CBD and Can I brands tie into your reinvention and your new direction? Because it's opened up so many avenues for you.
Well, in order to be your whole self, you have to feel good. And if you don't feel good, it's very hard to get your message out and try to reinvent yourself and give your speeches if you don't feel good inside.
Yeah.
And if you're not getting the sleep that you need, if the surgery you had 5 months later is still hurting, it's very hard to be yourself if you can't feel like yourself. And so having Can I brands in my life has really allowed me to feel like myself again. And that's really shown, with my attitude, not feeling so tired and irritable and, being pain free. It's just really made a huge difference in my life.
Oh, good. And, you were talking a little bit earlier about how it's affected, how it's improved, how you're feeling. What else what else have you seen in terms of aging and overall well-being beyond the immediate physical aspects?
I think aside from the sleep that I was lacking, the other thing is energy. I would feel like about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd hit a wall. And, if I went outside and got the mail, I'm like, oh, I'll wait till tomorrow to look through it. I'm just too tired. I mean, just like simple little things where I just felt so exhausted. And here I am my whole entire life where, growing up, I had what they called hyperactivity, which now I guess is called ADD. So I was always just going and bouncing off the walls. And now that I'm older, it's like I hit a wall and I'm like, who am I? Like, why do I have any energy? Like, this is just not me. And so the fact that I can take Can I Boost to help me with energy, and then also Can I Fresh, as you know, as you get older, you kind of forget things a little more frequently. And I found that Can I Fresh really helps with that. So just having Can I brands in my life with all the different oils and sprays that they have really made me feel like myself, where I can go out there and, if you hear thunder, it's thundering outside, so I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But really go out there and feel like I can be myself and talk about myself and really motivate people.
Oh, good. So now, Dara, what do you think about CBD being not banned at the upcoming, whenever they happen, Tokyo Olympics?
I think that's awesome. And I think that there are probably more athletes than they will admit taking CBD, because it really does make a difference. And, when you're taking over-the-counter stuff that is legal, but can have an effect. Oh, the side effect is if you take more than 800 milligrams, you may have stomach ulcers or whatever. You as an athlete, you don't want to deal with that stuff. And so I'm pretty sure there are a lot of athletes out there that are taking CBD that we don't even know of yet. And I think that's awesome that it's not banned. Being an athlete for so many years and having to deal with banned substances, that and if anything as simple as like a Sudafed for having a cough that you can't take, it was very, very frustrating knowing that there's so many things out there that you can't take. Not that it would necessarily help you, but there might be one ingredient in there that might be tied to something else that's banned, so therefore you can't take it. So it's very, very confusing. It's very frustrating for an athlete. And the fact that CBD is not banned, I think is wonderful for an athlete. And I wish that that was a case for me when I was an athlete, but I'm taking advantage of it as a non-athlete. So I'm still getting the effects of it.
Yeah, and there's many women watching us right now, and they're also thinking about CBD as a mom and a parent, and enhancing their lifestyle every day. And so, overcoming that stigma is really important for health and wellness.
It's funny you say that, because I have a funny story. I went overseas last summer, and my parents went, who are in their 80s and 90s. Hopefully my mom's not watching this. She'll be very mad that I said that. And my daughter went, who at that time was 13. And I literally, like, when we got there, I don't know, in the morning, but by like 5 o'clock, we were exhausted. I'm like, no, we got to eat dinner. And then by the time, like, then you get another sort of boost of energy. And now it's like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and now you can't sleep. Yeah. And you're jet lagged. And so I'm like, all right, everyone open up, and I'm spraying the CBD sleep in everyone's mouths. And it literally became like a ritual every night. Like, hey, Dara, don't forget to come to our room and, give us, and my sister too. It was just, even my 13-year-old at the time loved it. And so I literally was like the CBD queen, walking around to, 8 different people's rooms, giving them CBD to go to sleep. So it was really kind of funny.
Well, it does help. And earlier in the conversation, you were talking about, through the pandemic, the reinvention piece and how people are going to move forward. But cannabis and CBD is a whole new space. And maybe you want to talk a little bit about how you pivoted from Olympics, post-Olympics, to writing, to your wellness, and all of those aspects as well.
Yeah, that's a great question. So when I got back from Beijing, there was a lot of, what's the word I want to say? There was a lot of need for an athlete to speak at different events. And there are a lot of athletes that don't feel super comfortable talking on stage, even though they're so used to doing interviews all the time, just to be on stage in front of people, it can be fearful. It's much different than just sticking a microphone in your face and talking one-on-one with someone. So, so there was a demand for that. And I really started to enjoy giving talks and telling my story, and being able to, the stories that I tell that people can relate to, even if they don't know anything about swimming. And so that I really enjoyed. There was also a little bit of a demand for people wanting my memoir, and not just, going on TV and talking about it's something in an interview. They really wanted me to write a book. So I did that. I had a lot of fun doing that. I had a ghostwriter, Elizabeth Wheel, doing it with me. And she really